Hey guys, I wanted to come online and do a quick video. I know I've not done a video in a while, mostly because I've just got really busy with work. I've taken on coaching a new football team, and I just didn't really have the time to keep doing videos. Also, it was starting to cost me money, and I wasn't really getting anything back from it. Um, Not that I was ever expecting anything back, but things are a bit tough financially, so I wasn't really willing to keep putting the money in. So I'll keep doing videos every now and again, but they'll probably be in quite a relaxed format like this rather than a bit more kind of produced like I was trying to do before. Um, so I wanted to log in and do a kind of quick video on kind of where I think things are going wrong tactically and what Gerrard could probably do to fix it, or at least in my opinion, what I think he could do. Um, so at the moment, I mean, we started off playing kind of like two tens behind a central striker, but I guess more recently we play more with a 10 behind two strikers, but still very narrow. I think the problem we've got with this is it forces these two strikers really to run into the channels. And what you find is quite often you end up with like Ings out here and just then Watkins in the box. You've got like Buendia or Coutinho over here, and you just end up with one player in the box. Really, what you want with a player like Danny Ings is you need him in here. That's where he's going to score you goals. So I think the 10 behind two strikers, it just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't keep our strikers where we want them to be. Um, and it causes problems in terms of goal scoring. It makes both of our kind of strikers look poor goal scorers when that's not particularly the case. The other thing for me is Gerrard's got us playing with the fullbacks pushing on really high, and what that does is it kind of leaves you exposed here and here. So Liverpool play this way. Probably, I don't know, it might just be a coincidence, but it sometimes feels to me like it's Gerrard almost auditioning for the Liverpool role, trying to play this way. But maybe that's an unfair assessment. But the fullbacks come up very high, and it leaves big gaps on the pitch here, which is why you end up with your centre midfielders kind of being very restricted and having to sometimes defend like fullbacks and come into these areas. For me, the likes of McGinn, I mean, that's not what his game is. It's the same for if you look at like Ramsey, that's not his game. He's a ball carrier. He wants to be driving up the pitch with the ball. Kind of similar with McGinn, really. They both naturally want to be pushing up. And what that means then is you're left really exposed here. And it really then heavily relies on these. When you look at Liverpool, they quite often play with like a Henderson here. They'll have like Fabinho holding, who's like an absolute world-class CDM. But you've got players like Henderson, Milner that will do these roles that are just really tactically well positioned. There's no glory in it. It's just protecting these fullback areas and not wandering too far up the pitch, and kind of recycling possession between these players. The other difference you got, I guess, is Liverpool have world-class centre-backs that can cover it, likes of Van Dijk, Matip, are very good at being able to come and defend when they're outnumbered or in these wide areas if they need to, which Villa really don't have. Diego Carlos came in, probably not 100% convinced on that signing, but then he got injured before he could really prove me wrong. Mings isn't going to be good at that. Konsa's not great at that. It just leaves them really exposed. I think what you really need for this to work is what Liverpool have, which is world-class centre-backs, world-class CDM, and then really workman-like centre-mids that are going to do that role of covering so that your full-backs can get forward. I think it shows even with Liverpool. I think when they played United, they had Gomez here. I think it was like Harvey Elliott here, and Henderson was holding. And Harvey Elliott, great young talent, but that's not his kind of game. His game isn't to come and cover these positions. And Joe Gomez wasn't strong enough to be covering it on his own either. and they got absolutely exploited down this side. And everyone complains that Trent's terrible, but it's kind of more the system. The system is that he pushes on and these guys cover him, and they just weren't good enough at doing that. I think that's similar for Villa, really, is for these guys to push on, these have got to be good enough. Your defence, your centre-backs and your kind of midfielders have got to be positioned right all the time to be able to cover that. Otherwise, you just get completely exposed. So for me, what I'd do is I'd keep the full-backs deeper. I'd play the 4-3-3 still, but I'd get these guys wider, playing as wingers. So you'd have like Bailey, Buendia on each of the wings. You could play Coutinho out on the left. It's probably where he was best when he was playing for Liverpool, was cutting in from the left. You get them much wider. You keep your fullbacks, kind of invert them a little bit, similar to how Arsenal and Man City do. So they provide that 3 protection in front of your defence. And then you let these guys push on. So you let McGinn and you let Ramsey kind of drive on with the ball and exploit these areas in between. And what you'll get with that, I think, is you'll get the best out of McGinn, definitely. I think a lot of people have been very harsh on him. I just don't think he's being played in the right way that suits him. And that's why he's been so poor recently. But I think if you give him more of a kind of free 8 role to exploit and push on into these kind of spaces and these areas when we're high up the pitch, that's when I think you'll start to get the best out of him. So for me, I'd be looking at more how City and Arsenal play, really, and trying to replicate something like that. Again, maybe our fullbacks aren't designed to invert. They're not those kind of players, but I honestly think it'll work better. I think you'll get better out of Bailey if he's out wide, playing as a proper winger, and I think you'll get the best out of our centre mids as well. And then you can also allow our strikers, whether that's Watkins or Ings. I'm not too fussed on which one it is. Both have different attributes. Both are good at different things. But I'd have either of them then playing directly through the middle and playing and being that person in the box all the time. And then you can let your centre mids run and get in the box, and these guys can kind of come inside too. So yeah, just my kind of thoughts really on how I think Gerrard could solve the issues. He said he's going to potentially try something a bit different this weekend, so that will be or midweek. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, nice to check in and do another video. I know it's very kind of relaxed. Probably made a few mistakes or stumbled on words. And I just flicked onto a screen that I probably shouldn't have. But yeah, hopefully you still enjoyed the video. Stay subscribed, and I'll still do videos like this every now and again. They probably just won't be as regular as they were before, but hopefully more regular than the 7-month break I took this time. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.